Off topic, I really feel bad for people who buy lottery tickets. That's sad. What are you doing? Good example of whenever it's fun. I was at one of these Christmas parties I went to, bought like lottery tickets for everybody. And
Yeah.
then like a few people won, most people didn't win, and it was like a fun little thing.
Yeah.
And like somebody won $20, somebody won like $1, somebody won $5.
Yeah.
And it was just like a fun little thing. But when you're like, okay, big money, and you like spend $100 on like four
Yeah.
lottery tickets,
Right. Right.
and then you scratch them all off and you bust, and you're like, ah, dang it.
Right. I know. Here's another way to look at it. Is like if somebody truly believes inside and out, with no doubt in their mind, that this is their only chance at wealth, then I kind of get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they don't believe for whatever reasons of their own
Yeah.
that there's no way that they can achieve like financial success or wealth outside of a lottery ticket, then if I were that person, I would absolutely spend money on lottery tickets. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Like
yeah,
if
yeah.
that's if they feel like that's the only way, and I think a lot of
1,000%.
them probably do. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, realistically, it's like, yeah, that might be the only way. And if they can afford, to spend, one, two, five, 10, $20 on a lottery ticket here and there, and it doesn't hurt them, but they gain a chance of doing something, that they feel would be like more extraordinary than they could realistically achieve themselves because of their own life situations, stressors, responsibilities, like all that stuff, right? Like, I mean, everybody's trying as hard as they can with what they have.
Yeah, see, that's the part that sucks about it too, is that in a world where everyone is trying as hard as they can to make every single penny, what people don't realize is those dollars and dimes that are going to you are going away from other people. And so everyone is trying to like take money out of this thing that they assume is like an endless money pit.
Right. But it's coming from other people.
It's coming from someone, and
Yeah.
so you have people like who are so far detached from it, like take the owners of the lottery ticket themselves, for example.
Yeah.
Like if you just like if you um like if you owned a business that created and sold lottery tickets, and you hired like a guy who would process like sending money to someone whoever won, and then like a guy to prove that the lottery tickets were real, and then everything else, it like, you know what I mean? And it like you're so far detached from like the gross part of it,
Mm-hmm.
like the part where it's like, oh, I didn't win, and then it's
Right.
over, and like someone's
Right.
back to feeling like even more anxious than they were before they spent the money to win,
Yeah.
even more anxious or depressed or stressed out.
Yeah. Right.
And then you actually get to see that. You're gonna be like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this to people?
Yeah.
Why am I giving someone the opportunity to because it's not like if you get yourself in the position where you trust a lottery ticket,
Uh-huh.
kind of like you were talking about, where I believe it, you're like like you're also probably putting yourself in other situations where you're not gonna be successful.
Yeah, I mean, maybe because it's like it's the Hail Mary pass, right?
Mhm.
It's like I'm going to spend $20 and I'm going to hope to win thousands or whatever.
Hey,
It's like
voilà.
the reality is that statistically speaking, the chances of that, of course, are very very low,
Yeah.
right? You know, and I mean it's mathematics.
Que voilà.
If a lottery company could not depend on mathematics, they would fail,
Oh, I 100%
right?
agree.
So
Yeah.
Old piece
so
of
they
shit
could
car that
so they can
doesn't run anymore.
depend on
Resolver, baby.
mathematics.
You can scrap that for
And
parts, body armor.
mathematically
Those
speaking,
giant state-sanctioned
the more
history
you
books
play,
that hold all of
the more
Castillo's
you
lies?
lose.
Hollow out those pages, and you can sneak
And
up
that's
going
a
into a government
statistical
office.
My
fact.
useless
But
nephew who only plays video
some
games
people
on our awful internet?
Mobilize him.
get
Turn
that
him
one
into
lottery
online
ticket that
anti-Castillo
changes
troll.
You
everything.
really believe in this
Right.
resolver
Like their
shit?
entire
And
life.
if-
forever.
Hell yeah, compay. Works on everything.
Yes.
Even made me
And
into a
if that
functional
if you
guerrilla.
believe that's the only way that you can possibly attain that, then of course it makes perfect sense that you would buy a lottery ticket.
Something's happening that's making people believe that they actually have a chance at doing that. Like, I don't know what it is specifically, but something's giving people the illusion that if that they actually have a shot at winning.
Yeah. Well, right, because if you put that in front of somebody in a visual way where they can feel it, then they're going to buy into it. So, for example, many years ago, there was this, Publishers Clearinghouse. And they would like send all these like letters out and all this kind of stuff, and they'd want you to engage and whatever. It's like back before internet, really, for the most part. What they did is they started to like make
Or you
these
gave Castillo
commercials
hell with that blockade.
showing people who won, like all this money, like tons of money.
Right.
They would do these commercials, and this has been going on for so long that back when it was like, I don't know, I can't remember, but maybe like $50,000 or $100,000. Well, I mean, dude, that was like so much more today
So my
than
old
it was
piece of
back
shit
then.
car
You know what
that
I'm
doesn't
saying?
run
Right.
anymore?
No,
So it's like,
Resolver, baby. You can
right.
scrap
So
that for
now it would be
parts,
like
body
millions
armor.
or whatever.
Those giant state-sanctioned
But
history books
they
that
they
hold
would
all of
film
Castillo's lies?
these
Hollow out those
commercials
pages, and you can sneak up going
showing
into a
people
government office.
My
that
useless
won.
nephew who only plays
and,
video games
and,
on our
and
awful
they would
internet?
film them like
Mobilize him. Turn
going
him
up to the
into an
door,
online anti-Castillo troll.
ringing the doorbell,
You really believe in
and they
this
had this
resolver
huge
shit?
check that said like,
Hell yeah, compay. Works on
$100,000 or
Even made me into a
$500,000
functional
or $1
guerrilla.
million or whatever.
Whatever. Yeah.
And they'd be like, oh my God, and it was just like their entire lives changed in a moment. Like they now had these financial resources to do all the
How's it going?
things that they have been trying to do and more.
Right.
Right? So when you see that, you go, I want to be that person. Look, it happens. It happened to this person. I just watched it. It's fresh in my mind. I got the video in my head.
Hello?
Like, I can do
Hola.
this.
Huh?
Like, if God, a lot of people pray about lottery. We know that, right?
Right.
Like, maybe it's meant to be. Like, I've been praying for this, or I've been asking for this, or I've been hoping so much for this that I'm wishing it into reality, or whatever the mindset is. But they believe wholeheartedly that in some way, in some small way, they're special.
Right.
They might be the one to win. That maybe their prayers are going to be answered, or their needs are going to be met, because there's some force in the universe that focuses on fairness, and then they believe that would be fair.
You just nailed that. You just nailed the essence of the issue, right? And then from there, it's like a tree. It branches off into all of these issues, like everyone in there, like you said, praying. Like everyone in there is praying that because they believe they deserve it, and what they're going through specifically, they need it because of that.
Yeah, right.
Right? No one in the history of the world has ever been scratching off a lottery ticket, looks over to their left at someone scratching the same ticket, and hoped that they won and that person won.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's like, God, not only do I want to win, but that also means I don't want anybody else to win.
Right.
I don't want to split this.
Yeah, exactly.
I need this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
And
exactly.
it's funny too because there's so many people who need it. Not need
Oh
it.
yeah,
but,
absolutely.
Yeah, there's so many people who need
Or
the money
need
like
something.
that. Yeah.
They need something.
Yeah.
It's like they're paycheck to paycheck, and and that's and for many people paycheck to paycheck is good. You know, it means
Yeah.
like I'm maintaining.
Yeah,
You know,
it means no,
but for
like,
a lot
yeah.
of people, it's like it's less than paycheck to paycheck.
Nice to
They're
see a friendly
losing
Yeah,
money.
face.
slowly accumulating more and more debt.
Yeah, they have bills unpaid.
Yeah.
They're getting their lights shut off. You know, it's like their
Bro,
kids that are in school are
you're
like,
the one who
hey, I
abrió
really
el
want to do
taquero
this
santuario.
program at school, and it costs, you know, $150, and they can't do it. You know, and
Yeah.
or they got to be, you know, they have a kid that has to have, you know, like the brown bag sack lunch, right?
Mm-hmm.
That everybody looks at and says, oh, they're poor.
Right.
You know, it's like they don't want that for their kid. Like they do anything. And if all they could do, if they believed that all they could do was win the lottery to make that happen for themselves and for their children and for their future, then absolutely it makes perfect sense that they would go and invest in lottery tickets.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Because
Yeah.
if that's your only recourse, if you believe that, you know, and I'd like to believe that that's not the case, but who am I to say that?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
but if they truly believe that that was their only recourse, then, you know, it's like if you're stuck in a hole somewhere and you're going to use every resource you can possibly muster up to dig yourself out of that hole.
Right.
Hello.
Whether that's a financial problem or that's a physical fucking hole that you're stuck in with your body, you're going to do everything you possibly can, any resource, any material, anything you can possibly do to gain you some level of success, you know, to
How you doing?
survive and to provide.
Right. That's what sucks about it is because like people are people are profiting off of that. You know what I mean? It's just weird.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Like, isn't that? I don't know. To me, it's a little sadistic. It's like there's these issues that are spreading the wealth gap in the world further and further. Like generational wealth
Mm-hmm.
is like sad. I don't know. Generational wealth is like really sad to me. Like kind of like what you were talking about with the lottery. It's like you have the butterfly effect of this kid wants to join the debate team, and they join it, but they can't get a ride home, right? So they have to walk home, and then like, so or like they wanna go on like a debate trip, but they can't afford it because it costs every parent $100 to go on the trip,
Right.
and
Right.
the mom
Yeah.
doesn't have $100.
Yeah.
Well, what if she was
Exactly.
really good at debate, and then a scouter sees her and she gets a full ride to college,
Yeah.
and then she gets a college degree, and then gets an amazing job and makes $80K a year? It's like
Right. Right.
it's like that one little thing that you just missed, just that's the issue. And then so if you're like if I can give my child opportunities, and all I have to do is just get one lucky lottery ticket, then of course I'm gonna roll the dice on $20 here and there whenever I have the spare change,
Yeah.
but then just why not save it?
Yeah. Okay. So here's an example. So let's say that you are, let's say you got a kid. Okay.
Yeah.
You got a little 3-year-old. I'm gonna fuck you up with this one. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So let's say you got a 3-year-old, and you're teaching him how to fish, and you're, you know, sitting alongside a river, and you know, of course, you're gonna tell him like, hey, you know, don't swim in this motherfucker, right?
Right.
Like, yeah, stay with me. Don't go in the water and like more than boot height, whatever. Okay. So you're doing your job, you're protecting your kid, you're fishing on a riverside, and then you hook something, right? And you're like, oh, here we go, man. I'm going to show my kid, like, I'm going to pull in this big old fucking flathead catfish, this blue cat, this whatever.
Right.
And then you're like, and then you want to hand the pole to him, right? And you're like, hey, get over here. I want you to fight this fish. But you look over there and you don't see him.
Right.
what would you do? You're fishing on the bankside.
Obviously, I would let the
You-
pole go
your kid-
instantly and chase my kid.
Right. Well, so chase your kid. What do you mean?
I would jump in the river.
Fuck yeah, you would.
I'd start swimming down the river.
Right. So you would.
I'd do anything I can, absolutely anything I can to get my kid.
Right. You'd sacrifice your own life.
Oh yeah,
Right.
1000%.
Right. Because you believe at that moment that the only way to help your kid is to jump in the river.
Right.
To do the Hail Mary.
Right.
The Hail Mary pass.
Because there's yeah, exactly. There's nobody. Because I'm not sitting here and thinking to myself, oh, that's okay. I have a boat right here. Like
Yeah.
oh, like there's somebody with a car who can drive down the side of the river with me and
Right.
get ahead of the river. Like there's no
You don't have resources.
Right, exactly.
It's like you jump in the fucking river
Yeah, you just
and
have
you
to hope and pray.
literally probably sacrifice yourself trying, even if it's an impossible mission, even if you drown in the process, you're not going to hesitate for a second. You're going to jump in there and try to save your kid, right? So for people that are stuck in poverty, that's their Hail Mary pass. Like, if the only way that they feel that they could possibly help their own kid from a life of poverty, a life of injustice, would be to play the lottery, of course they would do that.
Yeah, dude.
Of course they would.